Welcome back to Blue Collar Retirement. In this series, we're breaking down retirement topics in a way that actually makes sense. No jargon, no pressure, just clear information so you can make a confident decision about your future. In this episode, we're talking about estate planning, a topic that often feels uncomfortable, confusing, or easy to put off. Many people assume estate planning is only for the ultra wealthy. But the truth is, estate planning matters for everyday working families just as much as if not more. First, I need to give you a disclaimer. I am not a lawyer. I'm a certified estate paralegal through Duquesne University. I'm able to teach you on how a wide variety of estate planning options can work. An estate lawyer will give you specific recommendations. I will also share a number of examples from experience with hundreds of families. At its core, estate planning is simply deciding what happens to your stuff, your money, and your responsibilities when you're no longer here, or if you can't make decisions for yourself. It answers questions like, who gets your money, your home, or personal belongings? Who makes medical decisions if you're unable to do it yourself? Who handles your finances if you're incapacitated? How do you make things easier on your family instead of harder? Estate planning isn't about predicting the future. It's about being prepared so your loved ones aren't left questioning. Estate planning isn't some modern invention. Even thousands of years ago, people understood the importance of planning ahead. In ancient Rome, for example, wills were legally recognized and often written publicly to ensure family property passed correctly. Roman soldiers would write wills before going into battle, knowing that having a plan protected their families back home. The idea hasn't changed much since then. If you don't decide what happens, somebody else will. The biggest myth, I don't have enough to need an estate plan. This is one of the most common misconceptions. Estate planning isn't about how much you have, it's about who you care about. So that could be your family, it could be friends, neighbors, it could be institutions that you also love. So if you own a home, you have savings or retirement accounts, maybe you have life insurance, or children or dependents that need to avoid family conflict, then estate planning matters for you. Even modest estates can become complicated without clear instructions. What happens if you don't have an estate plan? Well, hey, in Pennsylvania, there are laws called intestate succession. Now, that's a Latin term. It means you died with no plan in place. Now, state law decides where your assets are going. State laws are based on the closest relatives, even the ones you don't even talk to at this point in life. The probate court is where this is done. Now, each county has a probate court. People can also petition the court to obtain a part of your estate. Judges who don't know your family or your wishes will control the process. This process is called probate, and it can be maybe complicated. It can be time-consuming. It could take years. I've experienced long cases with clients. It can be expensive. Attorney fees alone could be more than 5% of the estate value. Stressful for loved ones. If there are problems before you pass, this one only amplifies them. It's public, it's not private. A will is a public record that anyone can review and take copies of. And sometimes the outcome isn't what you would have wanted at all. I had a person that considered a will, then procrastinated. His niece called me 6 months later when she was cleaning out his house because her uncle had passed away. She found my letter outlining a proposal. I had to give her the unfortunate news that he never finished the process. The tragedy was that a nephew that he was going to disinherit received over $400,000 from that estate. Let's go into some key parts of a basic estate plan. Let's break this down into simple, understandable pieces. Number one, a will. A will outlines who receives your assets, who handles your estate. That person is the executor. Guardianship for minor children. Once you pass away, it becomes irrevocable. A will does not avoid probate, but it gives clear direction and prevents confusion. Assets that are titled in an individual's name or held as tenants in common require the probate process to be sold or change title. Number 2, beneficiary designations. Some assets, like retirement accounts or life insurance, pass directly to beneficiaries, not through a will. Another overlooked asset that is commonly probated but could avoid the process are bank accounts. Your bank accounts can have beneficiaries that avoid probate. The term is payable on death, or POD. This is not adding an additional signer on the account. Instead, it allows your loved ones to access the funds when you pass and avoid probate. Now, that's why it's critical to review beneficiaries on a regular basis, especially that life insurance. Make sure they align with your wishes. Update them after life changes, like marriage, divorce, or a death. Outdated or missing beneficiaries are one of the most common estate planning mistakes. Number 3, power of attorney documents. A power of attorney allows someone you trust to help by paying your bills for you, handle financial matters, even make financial decisions if you're unable to because you're incapacitated. Without this, your family may need to go to court to get that approval to do it. A married couple that I met at one time, they were trying to do a will package, but those will packages do include powers of attorney documents. They too procrastinated. They didn't finish the work. About a year later, the husband called me in a panic because his wife went into dementia very quickly. She had a bank account that was only in her name. The bank would not allow him access to the funds without authorization from the court. This is called guardianship. Married couples are not automatically guardians for each other. That's why power of attorney documents are so important while you're alive. Number 4, healthcare directives. Now, this includes very important decisions like, hey, am I going to donate my organs? So under medical powers of attorney, you also have living wills. That's the end of life preferences. Now, these documents make sure your medical wishes are respected, and they remove the emotional pressure from your family during difficult moments. Spouses normally can make these decisions, but if that responsibility passes down to a child or a friend, many healthcare providers want the legal documents that clearly state who has the power to make healthcare decisions. There's an alternative to a will. It's called a trust. A trust is a legal contract that is settled outside of the probate court process. There are many types of trust that serve many different situations. Because of the amount of detail surrounding a trust, I will do an entire episode on that subject. Estate planning is about your family, not just documents. One of the most overlooked benefits of estate planning is peace of mind. When plans are clear, families argue less. Stress is reduced. Decisions are faster and smoother. Loved ones can focus on grieving and healing, not paperwork. Estate planning is one of the most thoughtful things you can do for people you care about. Now, there are some common mistakes that you want to avoid, and here's a couple of the pitfalls that I've seen quite often, sadly, that people are falling into. Assuming that everything automatically goes to a spouse. Well, forgetting to update plans after major life changes. Another could be naming beneficiaries without considering taxes or timing. Not coordinating estate plans with retirement accounts. Avoiding the conversation entirely because it feels uncomfortable. Avoiding the topic doesn't avoid the outcome. It just removes your voice from the decision. It's important for working families. For blue-collar and working families, estate planning can be even more critical because it's something that we really have to address. Assets are often tied up in homes and retirement accounts. Family members may rely on that income. Unexpected delays or costs can be financially damaging. Having a plan protects what you've worked hard for. Estate planning is not set it and forget it. An estate plan should be reviewed when there's major life events like, hey, you retired, you moved to maybe even a different state, you experienced a major health change, or maybe a family situation change. Life changes, your plan should too. Estate planning isn't about fear or worst case scenarios. It's about responsibility, clarity, and respect for the people you care about. You've spent a lifetime working hard, showing up, and providing. Estate planning is simply one more way to take care of the family even when you can't be there to do it.
Safety First Retirement, ensuring your financial dreams.